Finance has become an important dimension of global security. In this video brought to you by CFS at RUSI, we will review this in brief. When it comes to sanctions against Russia, the West has failed to gain traction with the global South. Tom, why is that?
Firstly, G7 sanctions have no legal standing in most of these countries, and so the private sector do not need to implement these sanctions. But secondly, many of these countries have historic relations with Russia and before that the Soviet Union, and so they've chosen to remain non-aligned in a war that does not directly affect them.
Tom, why is it important for G7 to change the minds of global South countries?
Sanctions are only effective when as many countries as possible implement them. And in this case, with such a large proportion of the world failing to implement sanctions on Russia, there are plenty of opportunities for Russia to develop circumvention schemes. That's why we need the Global South on board.
So what should Ukraine's allies be doing about this?
A key element to emphasize here is economic security. If the private sector in these Global South countries are not careful, they'll lose access to funding and markets around the world to grow their business. That should matter to Global South countries because that impacts their economic security. It should be a matter of national interest that they implement these sanctions, not just because they want to please the G7.